everyone, welcome back to our channel. The mastermind behind Diane's kidnapping plot has been revealed, and things are becoming incredibly dark and stormy in Genoa. A completely new character has emerged, someone nobody expected. Let's explore the madness of this week's episodes because we have so much to talk about. I cannot believe they did that. I am sitting here staring at my screen at 2 a.m., just completely losing my mind over the sheer audacity of the writers right now. Are you kidding me with this crossover mess? Before we even get into the kidnapping, we have to talk about the absolute sloppy rewrite they just tried to pull off to make the timeline fit with the Beyond the Gates crossover. They really expect us to believe that Diane Jenkins Abbott just took some me time and then happily showed up at a fundraiser in Maryland with Jack and Kyle, acting like they were one big happy family. Like, we just spent weeks watching their marriage implode over the Patty Williams yacht incident, and suddenly they are posing for cameras and smiling. It was so poorly done. Kyle actually thought his parents had reconnected during the storm, and I was just screaming at my TV, "Kyle, you sweet summer child. Your mother is a master manipulator. This is a PR stunt." But of course, the second they get back to Genoa City, Diane goes missing again. And this time, Jack knows it's different. He is in full-blown panic mode, and honestly, I don't blame him. Because when Diane disappears, it usually involves a morgue, a fake identity, and a decade of trauma. So they call in Detective James Burrow, which, thank goodness, finally some actual police work in this town. But here is where I completely lost it. Detective Burrow asks if Diane has a history of taking off, and Jack and Kyle literally have to stand there and lie to his face. They hide the fact that she faked her own death in 2011. Remember that? With Deacon Sharp, she literally used a cadaver from the morgue to frame Nikki Newman for murder. And Jack and Kyle are just like, "No, officer, this is totally out of character for her." I get why they did it. If they told Burrow the truth, he would just laugh and say she's probably sipping margaritas in Keokuk again. They needed him to take this seriously. Kyle was adamant that Diane would never abandon her division at Chabot, which is true. Diane loves power more than she loves breathing. So Jack immediately blames Patty Williams, and honestly, valid. Patty is a walking disaster zone. Detective Burrow agrees to talk to her, but you can tell he's thinking Diane is just hiding out because of the separation. But we know better. We know Patty is up to her eyeballs in this. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's back up to the scene at Chancellor Park because my jaw actually dropped. We see Patty meeting with this mysterious guy, Dr. Lawrence Markham. And Patty, unhinged, delusional, cat-obsessed Patty is sliding him a thick envelope full of cash. Like a straight-up bribe in broad daylight. And Dr. Markham is just sitting there assuring her that everything is going according to plan. I was literally pacing my living room. Who is this guy? What plan? Thank the soap gods for Tracy Abbott. Tracy is the MVP of this entire family, I swear. She spots the sketchy meetup from afar and her Abbott spidey senses start tingling. Tracy knows Patty is bad news. We all know Patty is bad news. Remember when she kissed little Summer with peanut butter on her lips knowing she had a deadly allergy? Yeah, Tracy hasn't forgotten how lethal Patty can be. So Tracy immediately calls Jack and summons him to the park. While she's waiting, Tracy actually confronts Patty. Go Tracy. But Patty, being the absolute sociopath that she is, doesn't even blink. She lies right to Tracy's face, claiming that Dr. Markham is just checking up on her because he's the psychiatrist who authorized her release. It sounded so plausible. I almost believed it for a second. But then Jack comes storming in, demanding answers about Diane's disappearance. And Patty just puts on this smug, innocent face and acts like Diane simply dumped him. She's standing there playing the victim, acting like Diane is just a runaway bride, and Jack is practically vibrating with rage. Okay, back to the point. Jack and Tracy head back to the Abbott mansion and do what anyone in 2026 would do. They Google the guy. And sure enough, Dr. Lawrence Markham is a legitimate board-certified psychiatrist. He runs the suburban psychiatric clinic where Patty was staying before she was released. So on paper, Patty's story checks out, but we know it's a lie. Because right after that, Patty gets a text from Markham with the proof she needs, and she heads straight to the Abbott mansion to drop a nuclear bomb on Jack's life. I'm sorry, but the confrontation at the mansion is the best scene Peter Bergman has done all year. Patty walks in, acting all concerned, and shows Jack a photo on her phone. It's Diane lying unconscious in a bed. Jack's face just falls. You could see his heart stop. Patty spins this wild, elaborate web of lies. She tells Jack that she found Diane having a complete mental breakdown, that Diane was inconsolable, and that Patty out of the goodness of her heart, called Dr. Markham for help. She claims Markham evaluated Diane, assigned her a caretaker, and whisked her away to some undisclosed private clinic for her own good. Jack is furious. He demands to see his wife immediately, but Patty just smiles that creepy, vacant smile of hers. She tells Jack that Diane's mind is completely fractured, that it's going to take years of intense therapy for her to recover, and that even when she does, she'll never be the same woman again. And then, the absolute kicker. Patty offers herself as a replacement. She actually said that. She tells Jack that Diane is never coming back to him, but that she is here. She is ready, and she can be a better wife than Diane ever was. I was screaming, the absolute delusion, but also the terrifying realization that hits Jack in that exact moment. He looks at Patty, and you can see the gears turning in his head. He realizes this isn't just a crazy ex acting out. This is extortion. This is blackmail. Patty is holding Diane hostage using a corrupt psychiatrist, and the ransom is Jack himself. She is explicitly telling him that Diane's safety, Diane's medical care, Diane's very life depends entirely on Jack surrendering to Patty and having a relationship with her. It is so sick, so twisted, and so perfectly Patty Williams. I kinda love this villain era for her. Actually, no. I hate it because Jack deserves better. But you know what I mean? It's fantastic television. And then we finally get to see Diane. Oh my gosh, poor Diane. She wakes up groggy, confused, and locked inside this strange house. It's not a hospital. It's not a clinic. It looks like a normal, high-end suburban home, but all the doors are deadbolted. She starts wandering around, trying to piece together what happened. And the set designers deserve an award for this little Easter egg. She looks at the bookshelf and notices a whole row of books written by Alan Laurent. I love when they throw in those little continuity nods for longtime fans. It grounds the universe so well. But Diane is a survivor. She's not just going to sit there and cry. She grabs a sharp letter opener from a desk and starts aggressively trying to pick the lock on the front door or pry it open. She is fighting for her life, but before she can break out, the front door unlocks from the outside, and in walks Dr. Lawrence Markham. This guy is terrifying because he doesn't act like a villain, he acts like a concerned doctor. He tells Diane a story that is just similar enough to Patty's to be believable, but with some very notable, horrifying differences. Markham claims that he found Diane screaming, completely hysterical, and inconsolable in her car. He says he called the police, and the police supposedly called Jack. And here is the ultimate gaslighting. Markham tells Diane that Jack approved of this. He tells her that Jack signed off on her getting the help she needs and agreed to let Markham take over her care. Diane is furious. She is yelling, insisting that she did not have a mental breakdown, that she is perfectly sane, and that she is being held against her will. But Markham just gives her this pitying, clinical look. He suggests that her trauma is so severe that she is experiencing dissociative amnesia regarding the event. He is literally trying to convince her that she went crazy and just doesn't remember it. It is psychological torture. Diane demands to know where she is, and Markham calmly confirms that he is keeping her at his private residence. He claims it's just until he can properly evaluate her condition and figure out the next steps for her treatment. But Diane isn't buying a single word of it. She knows she's been kidnapped. She demands to be taken to a real, actual clinic immediately because she refuses to stay trapped in this house with a rogue doctor for another second. So what is going to happen next? I am literally shaking with anticipation. Jack is trapped in this impossible nightmare. If he goes to the police and tells Detective Burrow that Patty is blackmailing him, Patty could easily order Markham to heavily drug Diane, or worse, make her disappear permanently. Markham is a doctor. He knows exactly how to make someone look legally insane or medically unfit to leave. Jack has to play along with Patty's sick, twisted romantic fantasy just to keep Diane alive. And think about the psychological toll this is going to take on Jack. He was just kidnapped and drugged by Patty on that yacht not too long ago, thanks to Victor Newman's sinister plotting. Now he has to willingly subject himself to Patty's presence again. It's going to trigger so much PTSD for him and Kyle. Kyle is going to lose his mind when he finds out Jack is spending time with Patty while his mother is missing. Kyle is already so volatile. He might just take matters into his own hands and do something incredibly reckless. I know some people are loving this storyline because they hate Diane and want to see her suffer, but personally, I think this is pushing the limits of cruelty. Diane has done terrible things, yes, but being medically kidnapped and gaslit by a corrupt psychiatrist is horrifying. I just hope Jack can outsmart Patty. Maybe he can use Tracy to secretly track Dr. Markham's movements. Tracy is the only one with a clear head right now. She needs to put on her detective hat and follow the money trail from that Chancellor Park bribe. All right, I need to take a breath. My heart is racing just typing all of this out. The writers are really giving us a thriller this month, and despite my complaints about the crossover continuity errors, I am 100% invested in this hostage plot. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Am I the only one who thinks Dr. Markham is the creepiest new character we've had in years? Do you think Jack will actually pretend to love Patty to save Diane? Let's discuss.